Welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am the Reverend Raff.
We did it. We made it.
Because when a band's name starts being everywhere, it can be very easy to go like, okay, like.
Just because I know what it's like to feel left out and to feel like people are weird or mean to you, and so I never want to be that person, and I want.
This here is my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
Big opportunity. You guys must be stoked you're on the first day too, because you can just sort of shoot. Yeah, you can just relax.
Brian was sitting down with his longtime friend and his former bandmate Meegs from Cold Chamber, and they were having coffee, and Brian was.
When those questions go, those hearty chuckles.
You know what that laughter says to me is like, people y'all don't even know what's coming. People just are gonna be minds are gonna be blown by that.
No, it will be a fucking banger.
What is going on, everybody? I am the Reverend Raff, along with my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
What's going on, everyone?
We're the Two Dudes Who Talk Music, and we are back with you today for another podcast episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
We have the podcast that comes out every day. Well, not every day. What am I
Every
doing,
day.
mate? I'm all over the fucking place today, mate. This is crazy. This is just.
You've had a big week.
I have.
Mate.
I'm still recovering from Metallica. I got my epic sunburn. But no, we have the podcast every week, as well as multiple reaction videos, as well as our series Rockin' Around the World that comes out every Wednesday. We also have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. Helps cover some of the running costs of the channel. So if that's your kind of jam, link's going to be down there.
Have a look.
Mate, how have you been? What have you been doing?
Been good, man. Been good. No, just chilling. When who did I go see? Oh, I caught Ash with Hell Machine last week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
On
How was
Drums,
that?
man. So I caught up with Ash for a bit. Yeah, caught up. Yeah. He's going really well, man. He's going really well. He's looking really good. Hell Machine are awesome. So that was so good to see them. And then caught up with Firefly, and it was good, man. It was good. And saw Ascend of Rain, so caught up with Sam and Cass and all that. It was just
Jealous, mate.
It was
You catch
great.
up with
It was
all the cool kids.
it was a good Sunday. It was just nice little Sunday sesh. But yeah, man. Other than that, nah, not a great deal. Just kicking back with the kids and all that stuff. But yeah, you, my friend, you had Metallica, didn't you? You did the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I've had a good one, mate. I've had a pretty good week. So yeah, went and saw Metallica the other day in Brisbane. I'll give you a brief rundown. I'll probably splash some pictures and or videos up while I'm talking about this one. So if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, if you pop over to the YouTube version, you to catch those. But yeah, so I had the enhanced tickets, which basically gives you like the black box lounge, and you get a little sort of extra. You got some free drinks with it, and for some free food and some extra bits and pieces. But that was really cool. Like, the black box lounge was in there, and they had like some tour cases from previous tours. So they were set up with like some of the stuff that they would have in their tour cases to help them with when they were getting around, and just little comforts to get them by while they're on the road. They had some of their like platinum albums there, some various photos, some cool shots from like back in the day with Cliff and stuff like that, which was really nice. I thought that was really special.
It's a nice little touch that they did that.
They had a Master of Puppets display both at the Block Box Lounge and at the pop-up store, which was like the album sort of thing, but then some white crosses in front, so you could kind of stand in behind the white crosses, and be in the artwork sort of thing.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
They had like a Ride the Lightning thing with an actual like electric chairs, like a physical chair you could sit in and stuff. That was a lot of fun.
I just could see. I was just thinking about some old dude in a mobility scooter, listening to Ride the Lightning on an electric mobility scooter. Yes,
not an electric mobility, an electric, like the old electric chair type thing. There was
I know. But I'm just saying.
But yeah, and in like the Black Box Lounge, they had some actual like tour used instruments of the bands. So like old drum kit, old basses and guitars and stuff that you could literally pick up and play, which I thought was really cool. Like I got to play one of Rob's tour basses from the last tour, which was pretty crazy. It sat very low on me, obviously, because he's a tall dude, but had a bit of a noodle along to the Four Horsemen on that, which was kind of fun. You know,
Yeah,
playing a Metallica song on a actual Metallica bass. You know,
Yeah, dude.
and let me say, by the way, the fucking food. Oh my god, it was really cool. It was like sliders and like arancini balls and fucking like spinach and ricotta puff pastries and all sorts of really, really cool shit like that. I think it was like the kind of stuff that they serve in the corporate lounges at Suncorp.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. It was really nice.
That's awesome, man.
And of course, yeah, the show itself, man, like Suicidal Tendencies opening up was fucking unreal. I'm so stoked I actually got to see proper Suicidal Tendencies because I did see a little bit. I got to see Infectious Grooves, you know, not a little while back. And you know, they brought Ty with them, Rob's son, who plays bass for Suicidal Tendencies now.
Yeah,
and
that's mad.
He came out at the end of the night and they played like sort of 4 or 5 Suicidal Tendencies songs, but actually getting to see Suicidal Tendencies, I'm like, this is fucking rad. And I see a lot of the chat online. I saw a lot of people like, oh, Suicidal's fucking ass. Why are they supporting fucking? Why are they on this tour? They shouldn't be on this thing. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like they did a great job.
You ain't done what they did.
Yeah, they did a great job. They have a legacy that deserves to be respected. Thank you very much.
100%.
You know, and they all look like they're having a good time out there, you know, and Ty is just fucking shredding it on that fucking bass. Like, Rob must be real proud, you know, to see his kid doing so well at that and leveling, not only meeting him on his level, but I think potentially surpassing him. Mm-hmm. You know, which is like, I think that's what any parent would kind of want for their kid.
Yeah, that is literally what you hope
to see them surpass them one day.
Yes, you don't want to see them do worse than you. That's
yeah,
the last thing.
and then like Evanescence, like I've never seen Evanescence live before, you know, and I mainly know just like sort of the main songs that were released, you know, but that was really cool. Like it was such an incredible, powerful performance. Like I was glad that by that point it was getting a bit darker, so the light show really started to play into it. Which was super cool. You know, they played pretty much all the songs I could have wanted from Evanescence. You know, obviously Bring Me to Life. They played Call Me When You're Sober, like Lithium, My Immortal, all the fucking, you know, all the fucking classic hits with it. So, and they did an incredible job. Just mind blown, you know, with that. And then obviously Metallica, like. Look, at this point, I've seen Metallica live a few times, and I've seen a shitload of Metallica live shows because over the years I've collected quite a few various live DVDs, and I've bought, you know, and even through COVID they were airing so many of their concerts on YouTube. Every Monday they were putting a new concert out for months, you know, which was like super cool. But just getting to see them live again, you know, it was so unreal. Like. I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed that I had missed out on like the meet and greet and Snake Pit tickets, but then when I actually saw the Snake Pit, I'm kind of glad I wasn't in there, because me being the short ass that I am, would have really struggled to see anything.
Oh, okay.
You know, I would have been like this the whole time.
Yeah.
Fucking thing. So, you know,
but we had what was it? The Snake Pit meet and greet ones. You got to go in and watch them do their sound check.
Well, the meet and greet ones, you got to like meet a couple of members of the band, and you got like even more sort of special privileges and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just, you know, I missed out on those tickets. I had tried to get those tickets, but in the end, I think I'm glad I didn't. Like, I ended up having a great day hanging out with my friend, who she had never seen Metallica before. So Kayla, shout out to Kayla. She had an absolute blast. Awesome. And you know, got a bit of a cool merch haul, obviously. So I got like a reissue of the 94 tour t-shirt.
Chris.
Got myself a nice like Suicidal Tendencies cap.
They always look red hot, the Suicidals, so the Suicidal Tendencies. Yeah.
More bands need to be doing the cap thing. Like Suicidal, because Suicidal's like skate punk. They've always been doing caps.
Achilles Confession done a Mad Hat. But yeah, so Suicidal.
This was like the exclusive drink bottle thing that came with the enhanced tickets. Mind you, they wouldn't let us take drink bottles into the stadium, but they gave all of us with the enhanced tickets one of these, which weighs like a fucking kilo, you know, because it's like a double-walled insulated fucking thing. So like you could easily fucking concuss someone with one of those, I reckon.
True. Nobody's going to throw like a $200 Yeti Metallica cooler. It's dead. I wouldn't throw that out.
So I'll show you some of the other ones, stuff that I got. So I got like this one.
That's mad.
Which is a really cool like tour shirt. What else did I get? I got a Suicidal Tendencies t-shirt as well. So like that and that. Very, very rad. Got some flags, Metallica flags.
Oh, that's cool.
This one's just the Master of Puppets artwork. And bandana. So again, that same sort of tour art on it. I'll try and turn it so you can see the thing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And a fucking jersey as well. So this is the kind of...
That is red hot. That is very
pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with this.
That is very cool, man.
Yeah, so, got a good merch haul. And I mean, look, I'll be honest, I was really worried that the t-shirts were going to be like $80 per t-shirt. That was 65, which...
Okay. Yeah.
Considering that in 2010, when I saw Metallica, the t-shirts were $50.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of like, I don't know what the rate of inflation is from, inflation comparison. CPI inflation calculator. Let's just see there. When was it? It was 2010 or some shit. I don't fucking know. Hang on. Calculate. Sorry, trying to get a...
You're all right.
So, like, yeah, $50 back in 2010 is now sort of around, like, the buying power of $50 back in 2010 is equivalent to about sort of 70-ish bucks today. So
yeah, it makes sense. 65.
When you factor in inflation, that their shirts were basically the same price there. But I mean, still expensive because we've fucking been in bands. We know how much it costs to get these fucking things printed. So don't come at me for saying they're still expensive because they are.
Printed and then carted around.
When you're buying like fucking
hundreds of thousands.
When you're buying like 10,000 shirts for each fucking show, like
and they probably own the t-shirt company that made them.
The price. Oh, they were like Gildan shirts and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, they're probably, we know how much it costs to get these fucking shirts made, and we're paying we're paying the higher prices because we're fucking buying small quantities. But anyway, the show was fucking amazing. Pyro was nuts. Like we weren't far from the stage. We weren't super close either. And the flame fucking bursts were still really fucking hot. Yeah. So I'd hate to think how intense they were for the band and for those people that were like really close to where they were going off. But it was a beautiful night. Everybody sang along. Was the pit the most active pit in the world? No. Because it's a fucking stadium show and it's Metallica, so you're going to have a whole range of people of different ages there that aren't necessarily going to want to mosh, which is fine, guys. Like, yes, you're going to have a bunch of people that want to mosh, but when the crowd is that large, they're going to be all scattered all over the place.
Yeah, they are.
So,
they make their way to the front. There's that little pocket at the front. But
But
either way, it's good.
Good
It's
show,
man.
Really good show all
It just
around.
goes to show you. Look at the moment. Seems to be that a lot of the rock and alternative bands seem to be a real constant, consistent at at you know what I mean? To me personally, it never left. Do you know what I mean? It's just now it's back in the spotlight where it needs to be.
Well, I think
know what I mean?
When I say it's making a comeback, I don't mean that because yes, for us it never went away.
Yeah, it
right?
never
But
went
I'm
away
talking
for us, man.
I'm talking when you look at like the charts and the mainstream, right?
Yeah.
There was a long period of time where like R&B, rap, hip hop was dominating in the charts, like decades. right? Because for a long time,
Yeah.
for decades, like you got rock was the fucking go, right?
Yes.
And then through the 80s into the 90s, that kind of changed, and then you had a lot of like R&B, rap, hip hop sort of stuff was really for many, many years after that, up until very recently, has been a very dominant, much more dominant than rock in the charts.
Yes.
That is starting to swing back the other way now.
It is.
So
especially in Australia.
I am hopeful and, hopefully looking towards that future with okay, cool. Maybe this is going to maybe we're going to get a bunch of cool bands starting to get their due now. But either way, speaking of cool bands.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was nice. That was smooth. That was smooth as shit.
Yeah. Segway game better than whoever it was, the founder of Segway that died on one or some shit. But anyway.
Oh, that's so funny. It's not funny. It's not funny he died.
It's not funny that it happened. No. But it's ironic, sort of, maybe. Yes. Ironic in the same way that all the stuff that Alanis Morissette said was ironic is ironic.
Yes.
Anyway, getting back to our guests for today. Why don't you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Well, I was lucky enough to go to this listening party a couple of weeks ago. The EP doesn't come out until next year, so there will be a short video coming out about it next year. But this band is an absolute powerhouse. To me, they're a stadium band that just doesn't have a stadium to play in yet. So, yeah, this is a band called Besomora. They're from Sydney, and they are an absolute, powerhouse. So we have Vlad on tonight. And, let's just get straight into this chat, shall we?
Awesome. Let's do it. Big thank you to Vlad from Besomora for joining us today. Glad you got a nice setup going there, mate. I got to say, I really like the setup that you got.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I mean, I'm trying to be, what's it called? Just put some videos on YouTube, and it's always good to have this setup, It sounds, looks cool. Yeah.
Helps to have a slightly better background. Like that's why I got all of this crap.
Your background is sick. I have it's pretty cool. It's very inspiring. I might actually come up with some like similar ideas.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I got when I moved everything in here, because I used to have it set up in my studio way back when we first started everything, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to be. It's interfering with my other setup, because when I was doing stuff for this, I'd have to like move some shit around, and then when I went to doing stuff with the bands, I'd have to move it back, and it was too messy. So I moved it in here. I got myself a thing from IKEA, and then just filled it up with a bunch of my random shit.
I love it.
The old nerdvana.
Yeah, the nerd wall. But yeah, so I've been having a bit of a listen through to your guys' last EP, Delusional Monster. I gotta say, man, I'm fucking like, I'm really, really impressed with it. Like it's musically, it's really tight. The production's really dialed in. Is that one that you worked with Dr. Mike for that one, or?
No, actually, we
is that the new one?
We did that in 2023, I think, and at the time we had original drummer actually, and then he had this home studio, and then we recorded everything at his place. Mm-hmm. Idea to record our EP with Mike came later, But if you like the sound on the previous EP, I'm sure you're gonna love the latest one, because it's just different level. I think we improved so much, like musicians and like songwriters, and also put so much effort into recording process and production, because this time we involved a few different people, with different mindset, and then just came up with a few ideas how to make that happen, and then it sounds amazing. I'm proud actually for I really love the previous release, because it's I think when we recorded that 3 years ago already, 2 years ago, actually I really loved it, and thought that it's amazing, and I'm listening to this EP now, the previous one, and it sounds pretty good. I still love it, but I think we just like I said, we grew up, like we I guess became better musicians, like songwriters, and style changed a bit. The music that we play now is a bit different. It's just it's more modern, I would say. Like it's
got a lot of groove in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's more straightforward. When I was younger, I used to love complicating things, right, in music as well. When I listening to like I was used to be a big fan of Death. Really loved like Chuck Schuldiner, and that's like one of my big inspirations, and that's why I used to play very similar music. And once you, I guess, you become more mature, you realize, okay, I need to record and come up with some, like, let's say, like more straightforward riffs, and because I think it's music. It's not about complicating things. No, just you sometimes simple riff and simple lyrics, can actually be so much better, and more groovy.
Well,
Yes.
one of the best bits of songwriting advice that I ever got was all you need for a good song is 3 chords and the truth. So, and I think that's and obviously when it comes to metal, metal is usually a little bit more involved than that, but it sticks with the same point, right? Like I think a lot of the time as musicians, we go through these phases and we're like, okay, I've got to prove myself by doing harder stuff and more complicated stuff, and I have to be complex for the sake of being complex, and I have to do harder stuff for the sake of doing harder stuff. And it sort of becomes like, why am I wasting my energy? Why use many word when few word will do? Why use lot note when few note will do? And you can get the same, you can write a really cool riff and it doesn't have to be super complicated.
Yeah, 100%. I think when you're younger, you're trying to prove something to someone, like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'm a great musician, I'm going to play this guitar riff, no one can play it, and the same thing, I think when it comes to drums as well, and, and bass and vocals, I think we intend to overcomplicate things when we're younger, and then, you become much more mature, and then you realize it's so like, it doesn't make any sense anymore. You can actually create something very special and unique, and without complicating music, just.
That's it. And mate, why do something that's just abnormally hard and then you're struggling every time to do it live or whatever, when you can do something that's really good, really impactful, and it can just be like so simple. You have a look at like Smoke on the Water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just something that's so simple, and and I think what makes most of those ones really timeless is when other people can learn them like that. It's what makes lyrics really good too. It's just when they're simple, but they're impactful.
Yeah, well, Nirvana, they just Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's so easy to play, and then everyone loves the song, and I can't listen to it anymore, to be honest.
I mean, and obviously, it all goes through phases, right? Like, there's more the grunge movement being a bit more sort of minimalist in a lot of ways, about like stripping back a lot of the bombast that had come from 80s metal. It was very much like we're just a rejection of a lot of that and just diving in, whereas metal was often diving into a lot of anger, and the part of it was like a party element, but there was a lot of anger as well with it. And the hair metal side of it obviously was like sex and drugs and stuff like that. The grunge side was like just stripping back the bombast and was looking more at like the sadness and the melancholy of life with it. And it's like you can express a lot of these things without needing to overcomplicate it. And,
100%.
And that's not to say that. Sorry, I just
no, go for it.
I'll let you go and say sorry. But that's not to say that the flip side of that, which is there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to push yourself as you grow as a musician as well. And get playing more complicated stuff as a challenge to yourself too, right? Like it's all about the reasons why you're doing it, I think is what it really comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. I think you just, as long as you progress as a musician, as long as always write different, like compared, let's give, using an example like Metallica, for example, if you listen to their old albums, they are so different, right, to each other, which is great. I think that's why they became such a great band. I think that's, as a musician, you're supposed to be doing. Every time you have to evolve, you have to come up with some ideas. And also what I realized, you always have to use different sound producers, people you work with, because they give you all these cool ideas, what I realize now, because people, now they can build their home studio and they can produce their own music, which is great, but also you're so constrained, right? Because it's basically, you're so limited because no one can give you like a piece of advice saying, dude, like, that could sound so much better, and that's why you need those sound producers for. And Mike, he actually was, so helpful with that. And Matt Clark as well, when we started recording our EP with him, he was also very helpful, just giving some, by giving some guidance, how we could come up with better a drum fills, so, and better sound, which is amazing.
Yeah.
This is where the value of external producers comes in, and it gets lost on a lot of people.
100%.
And they realize, okay, and I think this is something that, a lot of bands will look at it like that. Like you say, a lot of bands are looking and go, well, we can do it ourselves. Like, why would we pay someone else to do the producer role? Like, we can do that ourselves. And there's, like you say, there's value in getting that external opinion. And when you've got a producer that knows what, like, because a good producer can see what you're trying to do, and they can help you remove the roadblocks that you're putting in your own way to get there. A good producer isn't just going to help you record that piece of music. They're going to teach you lessons that you can carry forward and use every other time you're writing and recording beyond that.
It looked like the way you structure, just the way you approach your writing, and everything I mean, you have a look at like what Rick Rubin's done. Single album.
Kyle, can I get you a touch closer to your microphone?
Sorry.
Please?
Every time, you have a look at what Rick Rubin's done over the years, and nothing is the same. Everything is so different, but everything he touches turns to gold. So there's obviously an approach that he takes that.
Well, it's vibes. Rick Rubin's all vibes,
Yeah, it is. It is.
Exactly. And because, some producers, they push you right to your limits, and they give you different, they always have different opinion to yours. And what I realized, you're very biased, towards your music. You always think it's so great, oh, that's the best riff I ever come up with. And then, or, I recorded best song, but actually it might sound, a bit, shit. And then you actually don't realize that. Then, well, that's where you need someone else's opinion, and that's very helpful. And if someone says, your song is crap, I mean, yeah, well, thanks. It's honest opinion. I really appreciate it. I'm probably, if someone actually gives me very good feedback, that's what I really appreciate. And yeah, that's how we learn, especially when someone's from the industry and with lots of experience. I think when they listen to your songs and then they give you honest feedback, I think that's very important. Because also, lots of musicians, like, talented people, like artists in general, they're very, what's the word? Like, they're very fragile, right? When it comes to their art.
They can be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's why they're not ready to hear, honest opinion about their music. And I think I understand, Benjamin. It's your music, right? It's something that you created, and then when someone says, like, that the person doesn't like your music, or something is wrong with it, and maybe there's some more room for improvement. And I guess in many cases, musicians, they're not ready to listen to that feedback. And yeah, but I actually really appreciate if someone tells me that, if there's something I need to improve and, maybe change something, do a bit of restructuring in a song. I think it's great, because that's how again, like coming back to Mike, that's how he approached, with our EP, because, he actually, I remember I was sending him, like, guitar riffs, and basically we're talking to him, like, pretty much every day. I was telling him, like, what's the progress, what I've recorded, and then he would come back to me, and then he would give me his honest opinion about, how my sound was, or, the way I played that riff, or the way I was singing. And that's how I taught so much from him, because, I learned so much from him, because it's great when, like I said, some producer can give you, like, so much push, yeah.
It's great. And I mean, I can, I was fortunate enough many, many years ago to go to Los Angeles and work with Logan Mader from Machine Head. Like, he recorded and produced, one of the Tensions Arise EPs from back when I was in that band. And, it was just, I mean, that's a guy who's worked with fucking, you know, bands that have just that we've had that inspired us, you know, like he's working with like Devil Driver and Fear Factory, and we walked into his fucking studio and he's got these hard drives and it's like Des 1, Des 2, you know, Dino 1, Dino 2, Dino 3, and it's just hard drives for just these fucking icons of the business. And like his, you know, it would be doing so, like, oh, dude, maybe just try it this way. And, you know, we kind of were a bit, I mean, we were a bit starstruck at the time, right? Because it's like, oh my God, this is like Logan Mader, right? Like this guy knows game. So we're going to listen to whatever he fucking says, right? If he says try something, we'll try it. Like, why wouldn't we? But yeah, it's just, you know, and like I learned shit then that I still, you know, carry forward and use today. And the way I think about the song. So it's just, it really can be life-changing working with the right producer.
Yeah, and sometimes it might be bad experience. No, it just, I guess what I realized, you know, before you start working on the project, right, with someone, you have to build relationship, you know, like basically, you know, build a connection, you know, with that person. Because, you know, you're going to be working with someone like for at least like a month, maybe 2 or 3, right? So you have to have this same vibe, you know, you have to understand each other, and that's very important. And that's how, after that, you can create something very special. And if you don't have that connection, it's really hard, because you're going to have, you know, you're going to clash at some point, you know, it's just, it's not going to be a good experience for both of you, you know, and yeah, that's very important. I think building good connection with someone you work with, it's very important first, and then you start the project, and then you finish it.
So tell us a little bit more about this new EP that you've got that's coming out next year. So I think you said before we started it's called Devotion to the Fear, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was what I got to go and listen to just cheekily at
well, Kyle, give us your thoughts on it from when you had a listen.
Sonically, it's amazing. It's such a massive sound. It's in comparison to Delusional Monster. It's a complete. It's the same band, but it's a completely different approach to the way they've done their music. It's awesome. It's so heavy, Raff. It's got so much groove. It's just so it's so well produced. You guys should be very proud.
Thank you. Actually, I can send you a link if you guys want to listen to it again. Check it out. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate the feedback. That was a very good day, actually. Like listening back. About the EP. So again, like we used like a completely different approach, right? And we used not only 6-string guitars, but also like it was 8 and 9-string guitars, and that we used in that one. That's why it sounds so much heavier. And we involved like a couple of very talented people. I guess, I don't know, maybe probably going to wait until we announce that. But yeah, you guys know those two people. They're from very well band. In fact, we actually toured with one of them like last year. Yeah. So it's always good to bring someone, you know, from like as a guest musician, right, to your music. It's amazing because they can make a song so much better, you know, with their touch. I think it's great. But yeah, anyway, so come back to like, you know, EP and songs. And so basically there's a five track EP. So there's an intro and then 4 tracks. Some of them, like there's a slow one, there's like mid-tempo one, and there's one song which is very technical. There's lots of, I think there's keyboards on that song as well, on that particular song, the technical song. What else is there? God,
is there like a theme kind of running through all of the songs with this EP, or? No,
it's just all songs they're different to each other. You know, there's nothing that connects them. I mean, except the sound, I think, and songs about many things that we face in our lives and our challenges. I guess it's all about that.
And the title of the EP, is there any particular meaning behind that?
Well, that's a good one. So what we do, we every time we release a new like a song, every time we release a new EP, right, we actually take a line from a previous release. So what we do, like Delusional Monster, that was the a line from a very first single, and then and Devotion to the Fear, it's another line from a song from a Delusional Monster. So we do that all the time, just like take,
Good Easter eggs.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotta have Easter eggs, man. That's mad.
And then the guy who did artwork, so his name is, probably know him, Koki. He is the dude who works with Creator, Machine Head. I think he also has been working with Slipknot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and a few other artists, and he's very talented. So yeah, and it's so easy to work with him. You just give him a couple of ideas, and then he sends you sketch, and then you work. More, and then yeah. And those, so basically on Delusional Monster and Devotion to Fear artworks, they came from the same artist.
Good on you for using HI.
Yeah, human intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
on,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
on you.
yeah.
Good on you, Raff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually, you can use AI now, right, to
A
create.
lot of bands
no,
do.
a lot of bands
do. And
Yeah.
I find it really funny when you'll get a band that'll complain about AI music, but then we'll go and use AI to generate the artwork for their music, for their like releases.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it going, I'm sorry guys, you got no, like,
The Maffin
there's no moral high
bruv.
ground here. You can't have a whinge about AI music and then go and use AI like
your AI
graphic art
shit.
for your stuff. I'm sorry, it's
My AI is okay.
it's
Actually, I've listened to a few songs, that AI made, and yeah, they sound good, right? But you can tell it's not personal, it's not real stuff. It's just they're too perfect, and it just they don't sound that great. And artwork as well, actually we try to use our AI artwork, and it doesn't look that great. It's you can tell the difference straight away.
you can for a lot of it. I mean, I think there's a lot of AI cover songs that seem to be coming out now. So they'll be like, cover was like the latest one. I think it was the Real Slim Shady as like a new metal song.
Yeah.
And it's all, and I'm like, someone shared it with me, and I'm like, is this like, has someone made this or is this AI? And they're like, I think it might be AI. And I went and Googled, and like, there was like a half a dozen different versions of that thing, but they're all AI generated. And I'm like, nah, forget. I'm like, get rid of that. Give me like, Anthony Vincent doing his ones or something, his something in the, or who was the one we did, Carl, McGlocky or whatever it was, did his like, X in the style of Y sort of thing. And they actually record it and perform it and put all of the effort into it. And I'm like, that's what I want. I try and.
It was the Deftones doing Nirvana or something.
That was
Deftones
Deftones doing Everlong, I think was the one that we reacted to.
Deftones doing the
But
Deftones
like, I think I make a bit of a personal thing to try and not listen to, if I know it's an AI generated thing, I'll try not listening to it. If it's an AI video, I'll try and do not interested. If I try and weed that stuff out of my algorithm as much as I can, because I don't want to support it in any way, shape, or form, aside from the creative side of it, argument of it. There's obvious like moral stuff, and there's environmental issues that tie in with it, and all sorts of things. And I know some people saying it's inevitable, but I'm just kind of hoping that these reports I'm hearing about all these companies starting to lose faith in generative AI is I hope that's true, and it's not.
It's a big bubble, yeah. You know that.
I hope so.
OpenAI, that stuff. It's the same as what's it called? .com. Remember
the .com bubble? Yeah. I mean, look, it's a lot of this technology. This happens with, right? Like we had the .com bubble. There was the video game bubble back in, was it the 80s as well, where like they just went crazy, and then that really shit ET game came out, and the whole market tanked. We had it with, to a lesser extent, with like, it's happened with VR. it was like everything was pushing to be VR, 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 and now that's kind of fading away. It happened with 3D TVs and movies. That's, it's all like, it's just a more extreme version of that. And I think that, I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that, and maybe I'm putting too much faith in humanity, I don't know, but I'm hoping that we can sort of ride through this and come out the other side and be like, and then in 10 years time, we'll be like, I remember when everyone was like going fucking ape shit for AI rubbish, like whatever. And that, we as a society can be better than that. But history has taught me that that's probably a pipe dream.
No, that's it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, right? Because AI tools they can be helpful, like ChatGPT, for example. I think it's very helpful tool, and when it's just, if you want to save time, like, composing emails and stuff like that, it's very good to use that. But to have rely on that tool, I mean, AI tools in general, I think it's not a very good idea, because, it's just, you always have to check the information that it gives you, right? Or, it's not accurate, I think that's a major concern, and also people have to understand that, because, I've heard some stories, people actually, they end their relationships because of they listening to AI advice.
Yeah. Well, that's it, and it's like, yes, like anything else, there are some valid use cases for it. 100%. I'm not saying that there's not. My gripe is, though, as you kind of alluded to, there is when people become reliant on it or addicted to it, or people in creative fields want to use it instead of
learning an instrument.
People want to use it with no artistic talent, want to use AI to create art, and they go, well, no, it's an accessibility issue. I'm like, no, it's not. There's always been disabled artists that find ways to do their art.
Yeah.
We're not talking about and people that'll say that. I'm like, okay, well, what's your disability then?
Yeah.
I'm bad at art. That's not a disability, dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Being an asshole.
And
didn't know that was being.
And there's obvious dangers to it as well. I mean, I'm sure you probably heard about like this like AI psychosis stuff of people getting so like addicted to using AI for everything that they just kind of lose grasp of, they kind of lose touch with reality, and
of course.
And
that's, I mean, I can see a reason why it's happening. Like people,
well, it's sycophantic. It agrees with people and tells them what they want to hear, and then they become hooked on that dopamine rush.
That's true, yeah, because it never says no to you. Like, it's always saying, "Oh, it's a great idea. Yes, yeah, do that." Woo! And then, people without realizing it, they just, they might make a mistake, and again, like, you have to think, right? Like, it gives you a very good, like, as a tool, like, it's very helpful, and you can save your time, like, be more productive, I believe, and depends what you're doing. But when it comes to creating music, I think it's not a good idea at all. Like, you have to still do it like a very old, like, the way.
Yeah.
And that's how you can create something unique and new, because what AI does, it just like, it takes all the bits and pieces from the stuff that people already recorded, and released, right, and then create something based on that. But it can't create anything new, anything unique and unique, and and that's something that people should consider first, like, think of first, right? And then, unfortunately, that's what people do that.
That's the biggest problem, is a lot of people don't think first.
No.
But I think the only, like, the places within music where I think there could be use cases for AI is like, plugins, I think, is a really big one. So like, if you've got, but even then, it's less AI and it's just an algorithm. An AI is just really very advanced algorithm, and most of the time. But if you look at things like, for example, drum plugins, like drum, where, okay, you got a drum plugin. A lot of the time, if you're using programmed drums, it can be very difficult for it to sound not robotic in places. So you could, introduce much more advanced humanizing algorithms for your drum tracks, or so that it doesn't sound, if you've got like a quick run on the snare, it doesn't sound like a fucking machine gun of like that. It just sounds more like a human doing it, and or in reverb things to make it sound like a more natural reverb, and those sorts of spaces. I think there is room for it, because it's generally going to be a limited advanced algorithm that is self-contained on your device running like that, rather than, and it's just, where the line is between AI versus an advanced algorithm is probably a bit blurry. But I think those sort of spaces is probably, for me, I'm like, okay, I don't see an issue with using them there. That's just a more advanced version of the tech that we already have there, right? But if you're where it's, and the thing that a lot of people don't think about is like, if they're using these AI systems to create music for themselves, they have no copyright over that music. They have no copyright claim over that music. It's been ruled in cases that in the US, and due to the various, copyright treaties between the different countries, effectively we can look at it the same over here, is AI generated art doesn't have copyright protection.
That's correct, yeah.
Under the law. So if and this is, I'm going to start, if a band start using like AI in their album artwork, I'm just going to pinch the album artwork and use it for something else. And when they come up with AI generated, you don't have copyright over it.
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't have used it. Learn your lesson.
Shouldn't have done that.
Learn your fucking lesson.
Well, what's going to happen now that didn't Spotify just sign their first AI artist?
Oh, that's been a whole mess because there's been accusations of AI bands being pushed on Spotify.
It's been happening for quite a while, yeah, and that's why some musicians, some artists left the platform, I heard.
Yes, yeah, there's some that have pulled their stuff off it, which is, that's fine to do if you're a sizable artist that already has a broad fan base that you can connect with and be like, hey guys, we're taking our stuff down because of these reasons. If you want to listen to us, you can find us here, 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 and here. If you're a band at this level of the game, can you really afford to do that? Like, I know you're not getting anything from Spotify anyway, monetarily, but like,
actually, that'd be a good
can you
experiment.
afford to not have your music in the place where most of your audience is going to be? That becomes a tricky balance, and everyone's going to have to make their own decision on that. Obviously, it's taking a moral stand is not a very it's not great for growing your brand.
No, moral doesn't equate to financial.
But also, I think it's very important if big artists will start leaving the platform. I think that would make such a big impact on platform itself, right? But not like underground musicians and artists. I think it doesn't make any sense. Like for example, us leaving the platform because that's Spotify is being used pretty much by majority of people. Yeah, the second one is what's that? Apple Music, I think, could be the second.
Yeah, or YouTube. Maybe YouTube Music might be the second.
Yes. Okay. So I saw something about this the other day that I'm just checking. So apparently there is a website that's in the process of being developed called Subvert that is effectively like, they're like, we want our website to operate basically like Bandcamp, but it's crowdfunded and it's being run as a co-op. So
is that the New Zealand-based company?
I don't know if that's the case, but it's like, I love this idea of a platform that is going to be, it's run like a co-op and sort of, it's not like everything kind of goes back to the members. And the people, the bands that are selling their stuff on there are getting the most benefit that they can from it and all this sort of stuff. I feel like that sort of space is hopefully something that can gain more traction.
Let's hope so. Because musicians don't make any money on music anymore. It's just now if you're an underground musician, it's more like you're doing it for fun.
You have to love it, especially in Australia, right? Like you have to,
man.
You have to love it.
The travel and lack of people.
People would, I remember, God, back when I was back in like 20, where was I? It must have been around 2010, I think. It must have been early 2010 because I was still working at Bay Corp at the time, and my colleagues were asking me like, I was talking about playing gigs with Tensions Arise, talking to the band. They're like, "Oh, how much do you get paid per gig?" And I kind of laughed and I was like, "How much do you think we get paid?" Because I love asking that question to people that aren't in the thing because they just, they're like, "Oh, what? Like I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, and I just laughed. I'm like, mate, I could probably play 15 gigs and not make $1,000 out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
Geez, if I was
a
getting paid
lucrative market.
$1,000 a gig, I wouldn't be working at my day job. Just be playing gigs once a week.
I think that was the case ages ago, right? When like in 70s, 80s, maybe, I heard about, I was talking to someone, about music in Australia back in 70s. And then, King's Cross was such a cool place to go to listen to, AC/DC, Cold Cheese and all that, because so many pubs at that time. And then there was always live music there. And then people, those bands, they used to go from, play in one pub and then go, like another one across the road. And then just, that's how they used to make money. And then I think back then you could actually, make your band profitable, right? But in today's world, because with everything is so digital, it's really hard unless you use different channels. Like, you have like YouTube, or you become a music teacher, or, I don't know, you just, you have to use the other skill. I mean, like, you have to come up with better ideas, I guess, and like, again, like YouTube channel. And some musicians, like lots of them, they make their own plugins, and then they also do like online.
You're never just a musician anymore. You're a musician and musician and musician and this musician and marketing musician and
they're starting labels, they're starting artist management companies, they're doing, like you say, YouTube channels and podcasts and lessons and all of this kind of stuff to to try and have another income stream. They're becoming producers as well. I mean, the amount of
photographers,
videographers and all that. So that's probably, and also you use music. I mean, when you play in a band, that's how you know people, right? You meet people, and that's how you create a list of potential clients, that could use your services. And bands, like a good example would be Archspire, right? I think they guitarists, I mean, bass player and guitars, they do online courses, right? Like guitar lessons, and people love them, and they have people listen to them, everywhere in the world. I mean, in most countries. And then that's how they know them, and then they buy those lessons, and that's how they make money. And also with play guest appearances as well, and all that. That's how you can make money. But when you just a touring band, good luck with that.
That's what cover bands, that's the joke about, like when you when you give up on doing your original music because you can't make it work financially. People do cover bands, and it's like, okay, cool, you can make so much more as a cover band because people they're gonna know the songs that you're playing. You don't have to worry about writing songs, so that's off the table. That pressure's gone. You just learn existing songs that people already want to hear, and then you just got to go to where get playing where people are. And get a name for it. I mean, a while ago we had a young band on the podcast, and they were actually doing both. They were like, they operated as a cover band under one name to earn money, and then the money they were earning from that they were using to fund their original stuff, which they operated under another name. And I'm like, that's fucking smart.
Yeah.
That's fucking smart.
Subsidize it.
You're subsidizing that, and you're getting your reps in because you're out there playing gigs. You're making connections with venues and other people and whatnot, and you're learning, you're mastering your instruments and just getting used to that gigging lifestyle and how to be efficient and professional at shows. Like
you got the best market research because you can just throw in your originals during your cover set and be like, hey, do you guys want to hear one of our originals? And then you got your marketing while you're doing that at the same time.
Yep, exactly. It's a smart business model. I think more bands should look at doing it.
They really should, especially if they can get together with other friends and do bits and pieces. But I mean, you have a look at it though. This is a question I've been thinking about. Do you think a band like Friends of Rom could come out today and have the success that they had? Considering the cult following they had mainly in Australia, and you had like CDs were a big thing, like do you know what I mean? They had albums that you could buy off and make a lot more money. Do you think they could get the sort of credibility? Not the credibility, sorry, no. But do you think they could get the success they could in this modern modern age if they were to come out, say, tomorrow?
No,
Well, I don't think so either.
I don't. It's one of these things, right? Like, but you could say the same about any band. You could say the same about any fucking band, right? You could be like, if AC/DC didn't exist and they started tomorrow, would they have the success that they had? Of course, fucking not.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? There's social movements taking place around these bands, and they just happen to be in the right place at the right time. And yep, there's a lot of work that's gone in. I'm not denying that, but no amount of work will get you there if you don't also have some good fortune. Like AC/DC, no matter how hard they worked, they would not be at the level that they are without some good fortune. The right people being in the right rooms.
Yeah.
Metallica doesn't become the biggest heavy metal band in the world without the right people being in the right rooms at the right times. No matter how hard they worked, if those people aren't in those rooms, you don't have them being where they're at. It's you know,
especially considering how much influence the industry had in those areas too, because now it's a lot less, to a degree it is still industry based, but I think the rise of the independent musician is a lot more prevalent now than what it was 20 years ago, especially now with the internet the way it is.
Yeah, 100%. Because
for better or worse.
Platforms and all that, I think, people release so much stuff and it's everywhere, TikTok and Instagram, and everyone can afford, to buy like a very budget, audio interface and a cheap guitar and then start producing their own songs. And in the amount of shit you can find on Spotify, like it's just some weird music that, like very...
Oh, we know. We know. We've got our fucking... We've been doing our Rockin' Around the World series all year, finding these little bands from God knows where across the world. And let me tell you, the talent that is out there is fucking unreal. The accessibility is both a blessing and a curse, because yes, it allows you to reach, it allows you to reach a global audience, but it also allows everyone else to reach a global audience. Yes. And therefore the market is flooded, and it makes it harder for people to find you amongst the noise.
Exactly. And then when we come back to the 60s, right, people couldn't afford, you had to be very good, like the Beatles, for example, they become like a legendary, they became a legendary band because, they were very unique, and then, and they, I think, pushed themselves so hard, and then someone, the producer found them, manager, whoever it was, I can't remember. And then, and they couldn't afford, I think, to go to the studio, right? Because it was so expensive to go to the studio and record it. It would cost a fortune. And that's why only like super talented bands and artists could go to the studio and record, their products, right? And their music. And that's why there was less music artists, but they were great, I think. Now we have a totally opposite thing, right? So we have lots of we have opportunity to people can record their music at home, but it created so much music, and then lots of it, it's not, it's not that great. And that's why I think even now, like, I don't have a patience to listen to music anymore on Spotify. Like, I can't listen to the entire album, and
that's Carl's point. Carl's made that point a lot of times.
Oh, that's my pet peeve.
It is, yeah.
It's
but you're right. Like Carl's, Carl, do you want to?
Well, my whole thing is it's even come down to the musicians, where the ability to write a good album has gone out the window.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where people don't digest music like that anymore. I love you, but Bart, in saying that, I think it's because you don't own a CD, because you used to sit there and you used to hold it and you used to own it and you used to sit there and listen to the whole thing and you used to connect with it and read all the song names and know all the song names and
you were invested in it. And because if you didn't like it on the first listen, you'd give it another few spins, because you're like, well, I've already spent my fucking money on it, so I may as well. And then you get familiar with it and it starts to make sense.
It was a physical product, and that was a very special experience, especially like CDs. They were great. I remember, and then I used to buy them, and it was very cool. Put them in the player, and then you appreciate it so much, and you read all the lyrics, and then all the pictures. It was pretty cool. And then also vinyls they were like still amazing. That's when you have the special experience. You put and then you enjoy it. Have a glass of wine or whatever, and then
that's when you're dropping the needle on.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're hearing it from that first scratch.
Yeah, and that's why it's so unique and special experience. And now we have Spotify and all these platforms, and then I always catch myself skipping songs, like it's annoying, but also a lot, like you listen to like Metallica, the latest album, it's not that great. I don't want to listen to it. Like I listened to a few tracks and I was like, okay, well, that's
Yeah. No, you know what it is? Okay. I think I've twigged onto why it was because I feel the same way. Like that most recent Metallica album, 72 Seasons. Like I like Lux Eterna. Cool. That was really, really good. The rest of it just doesn't hit the same way for me anymore. And this is coming from someone like Metallica for most of my life has been my favorite band, right? So you know what this means with someone like me saying it, okay? I think the reason that 72 Seasons didn't hit quite as well is when you look at the history of Metallica's career and how they've changed their sounds, right? Those first 4 albums, while they all are thrash, they're different levels and evolutions of thrash, and their sound did change from album to album. Then obviously you had the Black Album, then you had Load and Reload, which was sort of similar-ish. Obviously Saint Anger was a thing. So they've had, throughout their whole career, there's not been more than like maybe a 5-year period where they had the same sound, right? Then they dropped Death Magnetic, and I feel like for the most part, that's been their sound ever since. You know, they had Death Magnetic and then they had Hardwired, which was, you know, again, a bunch of really, really cool songs. I actually really like a lot of stuff on Hardwired. And then 72 Seasons. And even though there's long gaps between some of these albums, basically the Metallica sound has been the Death Magnetic sound now for 15 years. And that is the longest that Metallica has had one single sound across their releases. So we've been listening to that Death Magnetic sound now for 15 years. The new album comes out and it's like, oh, you know, let's say, you know, 11 or 12 years when 72 Seasons came out, but still, like, that's a long fucking time for Metallica to have one sound. And I think for me, I'm just tired of listening to that sound of Metallica now. I've thought normally by this time, if you look at their history, normally by this time they would have changed it up, done something different. But no, it feels like they've just done the same thing again, which makes me think that a lot of these songs are like, you know, songs that were maybe axed from Death Magnetic or Hardwired, and they've tried to use them here or revamp them or whatever. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. Like, I'm not privy to any secret information, but that's certainly what it feels like to me.
I think they've been using the same approach like over the years. I mean, I've watched a few videos of them, you know, working in the studio. I think they've been using the same studio, right?
Well, they've got, I think, pretty much since, because I think sometime in the 2000s, or maybe it was the early 2010s, they bought back ownership of their whole back catalog of music, and they've basically got their own space and setup that they can use for everything now. So yeah, like having their own thing. And I think this comes down as well to how much are you listening to external producers versus your own decisions, right? Yeah. And even the biggest bands in the world can fall into this trap. They can think, well, we've had all of this success, you know, do we want to just get a producer in who's more akin to a mixing engineer that's going to get us to the sound that we want to get rather than providing us any input? And then do they become more insular with their decision making and not listening to those outside voices? I don't know. This isn't like the fucking Saint Anger where we got a whole documentary on how the fucking album was made.
No, that's true.
You know,
I can see it now. You being that producer, it's like, sorry, Mr. Hetfield and Mr. Lars. we just like to. I just thought we might try this, and this. It's like, motherfucker.
I'm James Hetfield, motherfucker. Yeah, are you serious?
Are you Lars? Excuse me. Are you Metallica? I'm Metallica. You're not Metallica.
Yeah,
oh man,
they need. It was so sick, right? You know, the Black Album was so cool to watch. And Saint Anger, not my favorite album, but it was actually, you know,
the songs on Saint Anger. The songs on Saint Anger. If that album had been released by an up and coming band, so not Metallica, an up and coming band releases that album, maybe with some slight production tweaks, but the songs as they are, if they're released by any other band that's coming up, they would be hailed as being ahead of their fucking time. I maintain that the only reason that album was so hated was because it was a Metallica album.
And it's still not that bad. That's the thing. It's like, really, like
I expected them to record something else, and then they came up with this idea, and then
they tried something different. They took a swing. They're entitled to fucking take a swing.
Yeah. So guess what? You know what? They still had a career for another 20 years after it. So
yeah.
It's always people who don't like your music and people who like your music, and then that's I guess they still go on. I mean, they're still playing amazing shows. There's stadium bands, and then that's
killer show.
But the amount of bad albums they've had for supposedly all these bad albums they've had after the Black Album, they sure seem to be selling out a lot of their shows.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like.
Anyway, let's
people don't know what you want.
let's bring it back around to talking about another really cool band called Besomora. That hopefully is going to end up selling out stadium shows someday. Let's hope. Yeah,
dude, at the rate they go, they're a stadium sounding band. That's the thing.
Have you guys got any more shows lined up for this year or anything kind of for early next year? Like, what's the plan there?
Not really. Actually, we barely played this year. I was focusing more on this, releasing, like recording and post-production, and also just building a plan, for the next few months. Like, just actually work together with our guitarists on that, just basically 6 months plan to what we're gonna do, what we're gonna post, and on social media, and then just generating ideas, because it's easy to release an album, EP, but you have to also create so much content, right, to support it. So that's very important. That's why I'm not in a hurry to release it. We have to wait till next year, and then now it's like it's Christmas happening, coming soon, and we're just gonna wait till next year, and then but we're still like working on like I said, there's so much content, and because we filmed like a documentary, like a short documentary about our previous tour with Scar Symmetry, and we're going to release it this year. We're gonna start we're just posting all these reels, and just like short documentary. I think it's great to show people what's happening when you're on the road. It's fun. But yeah, there won't be any shows this year. So we have big plans for next year. So national tour would be great, and hopefully gonna get some support slots for the international bands.
Yes,
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'll always love that, because it's a great opportunity, to show your music to to just people who never heard of you, and that's amazing. And also it's very cool to play with someone you grew up listening to. I think it's amazing. You feel like a kid, like, wow, it's so good. I used to listen to you guys when I was 10 years old.
It's a good feeling when you get to open for that. Like, I mean, I've been fortunate to have a few myself, and I get, it's always fun. You always kind of get a smile on your face with it, because you're like, fuck yeah, like this is
yeah, the work's paying off.
Like this is like, like you do it for the love of the music, but you're like, having the opportunities to do this shit's really pretty fucking cool.
Dude.
Exactly. And also not so many people have this opportunity. Imagine, like, there's so many bands in Australia, right? And then you feel this, wow, I'm actually, our band is so special. We actually, achieved something, which is great, like, because imagine how many bands they send probably emails, to those promoters, and how many bands those promoters, come back to, and approach them. And that's why I think it feels like, wow, that you've done something great, you actually, recording something good, and you work on your shows, and that's it feels great. I love it.
Awesome.
That's good, man.
Well, look, we are going to have links to all of Besomora's socials down in the description. So go and follow them on whatever platform that you're on. Keep an eye out on stuff. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that tour that you're talking about for next year. Hopefully it's going to happen, and I'll try and see if I want to try and get to a Brisbane show whenever that's happening. Definitely, try and keep us informed on that. And yeah, look, and obviously, keep an eye out for that EP as well. I'm sure it's going to be fucking amazing, as Kyle can attest.
So amazing. It's so amazing.
I'm definitely excited to have a listen to it, and to hear some more of Dr. Mike's work. Obviously, we had him on the other week, and that was a really cool chat. But yeah, awesome. Well, look, thank you so much, man, for coming on and having a chat with us today. It really means a lot. You're willing to give us your time.
Thank you.
And yeah, like we said, everyone, go and check them out. Go and listen to the stuff they've got out there. Get yourself ready for that new EP coming out and for that tour. If you enjoyed this video today, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe consider hitting subscribe. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. And remember, I am Reverend Raff. I almost said I'm the beer buddy Kyle there. I don't know what I was fucking thinking. I haven't even had anything to drink. I am the Reverend Raff along with the beer buddy Kyle. We are the two dudes who talk music. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care of yourselves and your mates, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.